All right.
All right, welcome back to my channel. Tema Israel, and right now we're in 4J. Oh, let me show you. Scrappy? Coco?
Coco.
I think she wants to be in the camera.
Let's go.
But we're at 4J's farm. This is 4J, Mr. 4J,
Hey.
or known as Mr. Johnson. You know, my channel is about learning how to farm, in-home farming, but today I have a treat for you. Every now and then you see I'll put on some stuff about herbs, natural herbs, but I only have so much in my yard, and 4J's farm is the perfect place to find some bush medicine, medicinal herbs. And Mr. Johnson will take it over from here with his tour around his garden and show us the use of some of these medicinal herbs and how you could identify them and whatnot. So
All right.
you might want to introduce yourself first.
Yeah, sure. No problem, man.
your
Yeah,
channel?
so I'm Mr. 4J's. Yeah. We also have a channel called 4J's Homestead. So you guys can go over there and check that out. The spelling would be FOR space J apostrophe S Homestead. All right. So just check that out. I mean, I grew up basically on one of the family islands, right? In the Bahamas, one of the family islands, and oftentimes I would watch I grew up with my great grandparents, and I would watch them every morning. My great grandfather would watch them get up and go outside and just pick some bush and come back and boil it, you know. And when they asked him, I was like, you know, what's the name of this plant, you know, that you boil it for tea every morning? And he said it was croton. And I don't remember seeing that much croton on the property until I moved here to New Providence, and my grandmother had a hedge of crotons in the yard, and she would do the same thing. And so she started to tell me the croton was good for gas, you know what I mean, and good for headaches. My grandfather, he did a lot of he had a lot of medicinal herbs, a lot of bush medicine planted around the yard. He would use a lot of various trees and plants, you know, for various reasons. So I just stuck with him and I learned that. And my father, on the other hand, did the same thing, right? But so I'm gonna just jump straight into it. The first one we're going to take a look at is the Microna plant. This is said to be good for cold, coughing, indigestion, right? And flu. It's good for that. Also, let's say you happen to be out on a farmland and in the wilderness and you run across this plant, right? And let's say you're a person who kinds of play with, let's say, low sugar. Once these are ripe, you can pick these little fruits right here. Go pick one. And you can chew on it, you can swallow it. It is related to the fig. So if you squeeze one of those and you'll see the seeds, it's related to the fig. You squeeze that right good right there. I'll squeeze it. You see all those little seeds?
Oh, okay.
Right, it's the little seeds. So that's why, and they're very sweet, right? For those of you who don't want to swallow the seeds, you can spit it back out, or you can just eat it. Also, you can boil this for tea in the morning, for tea in the evening. You can drink this anytime. You don't necessarily have to use it when you have the cold or a cough. You can just use this every day, all the time, all right? It's also good to have one of these plants in your yard, because think about it, if you're walking around your yard and you just want a little pick me up, a little sweet something, you just pick the plant once it's ready.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I've seen this plant before, but I always thought it was poisonous. So if I see this plant somewhere in a safe spot, because I believe you never pick plants and just eat it, where you see a lot of dogs and stuff where they could pee and do their business on, or where a lot of cars are.
Yep.
But if I see this, I'm in the bush somewhere, and I see this, I could pick this and eat this.
Yep.
All right. And you say it's good for what again?
Well, the plant itself, the leaves, they're good for cough, cold, inflammation, right? And flu, to help you fight the flu. But you don't have to use it for that. You can use it every day.
All right.
Also, the fruit provides sugar and antioxidants.
Cool.
All right? It's very, very nice.
Almost
good
look
fruit.
like a raspberry.
Yeah, it does. All right, so we're now here at the tree that we call strongback. And the reason why, now this it goes by another name. I cannot remember that name, but this is the commonly known name that we call it here in the Bahamas, strongback. Also, with this, before I even get to the leaves, these fruits right here, another set of full of sugar, full of antioxidants, full of energy. You can take these and you can chew on a few of these, right? You can chew on a few of them. You can swallow them if you want to, or you can spit them out. You just want the juices, right? Basically,
Okay.
that's what you want. Very sweet, natural sugar, 100%. So let's say you out in the wilderness or you in the back of your yard. It's good to have this in the yard also. You're back in the you're in your yard, and you just want some out of my grown-up fruit and the strongback fruit. You can have a little bag or a little baggie full of this stuff and natural sugar. You don't even have to worry about going to run to the store and buy a cookie or M&M or something. And plus, it gives you energy. It does, literally, because it's good for the body. Any plant that you find out that is edible, either by the fruit or by drinking it by tea, it's always good for your body. Now, here's the reason why it's called strongback, right? Simply because when I was growing up, my grandmother used to give this, my great-grandmother used to give this to me and my sisters and my uncles. This is a commonly known tea inside the house. It was a special known tea. Why? It's because we used to get it twice a day. We used to get it in the morning and in the evening. And we was told, at least I was told, that it helps the child not to wet the bed. So if you have a toddler coming up, and you know toddlers, they gotta grow out of it.
Right.
Right? Well, this helps them, this tea, right? And every time, what she used to do is she used to make sure when the fruit was ripe, she used to keep like a bowl of it. So she would give us a few throughout the day, right? So that was the benefit of this. This is why it's called strongback. But I'm sure it has a lot more benefits, but for that's the only reason I truly know of this plant. And again, you can drink this in the morning, in the evenings. You can drink this basically anytime. It's not harmful to the body at all.
So what exactly are we brewing once we make a tea? The leaves or the fruits?
You're brewing the leaves, not the fruit.
Okay.
You wanna either plant the fruit or you wanna eat the fruit,
Okay.
but you're brewing the leaves, right? So we're going to move on to another plant now. I don't want to call the name of the plant because of the adult name. I will call it, the best name I could say is called stiff leaf. Okay, we're going to move on to that.
So
plant.
stiff leaf is another name for it?
Yes, another name for it.
Okay, all right, let's go
Right.
to the stiff leaf.
Right. So what we have here is one of the plants that is one of the plants or the ingredients for what my great-grandparents would call 21 gun salute. Now, the 21 gun salute is 21 plants that's put together for adults, and I was told that it is good for baby making. So this is one of the leaves, and I call it stiff leaf, but the name is called stiff. Can I say this word?
You could say it.
The name is called stiff cork, okay? Simply because the leaf is stiff. It's very stiff, so it breaks readily. And this leaf here, it is known, at least what I was told, what I was taught, is that this,
Let me see a leaf.
this is, the ingredients in this is what keeps the male organ standing.
All right.
Now, along with that, the binding agent to the 21, you cannot have 21 unless you have this little thing right here. It's called the love vine, and that's the reason why it's called the love vine. It's a vine, and the plan is once you get like a bunch of this stuff right here, with the stiff cork, with the 5 fingers, with the chini root, with all the other rest of the plants. Once you get all that stuff together, before you boil it down, what you do is you take this and you wrap it up really good, right? A bunch of it. And you put it in you can either put it in a plastic bag or you can just wrap it up tight, dip it in some water and beat it until you see the juices start to flow out of it. Then you put it in the water. That's the first thing you put inside the pot. Then you put all these other leaves on it. Now what happens is this becomes very slimy and thick.
Yeah, I know
It gets
that.
very, very, so it's a binding agent for all of the other ingredients. And that's why they say it's a baby making tea.
If I incorporate the stiff cock
Yeah.
and the love wine, boil them together and
Yeah.
drink it. So would you say if you're a guy
Yeah.
who's plagued with who can't hold an erection,
Uh-huh.
would this be ideal for them?
Well,
Or it's mostly for men to maintain that erection?
well, from what I understand, this has to go along with the rest of the plants to actually help, because 90% of it depends on the man. If he is not mentally there, then it's not going to happen. But if, let's say, he's mentally there, all this does is add the extra 10 for him to go. You see, that's all this does.
Okay.
Other than that, the only other thing that this does is this helps to build up his back. Let's say it's he has a weak back, or he ejaculates fast. It helps to build that up if he drinks this.
So another question. The plant before this that was called strong bark.
Yes,
Is it strong bark or strong back?
it's called strong back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is stiff cock.
Yes, this is stiff corn.
Can I mix the stiff cock with the strong bark, or there's no need to? I could use either or and it works almost the same.
You can use either or, but remember, the strong back and the stiff cork is a part of the 21 gun salute.
Oh.
All right.
That's how they make
That's
that.
how-
Okay.
exactly.
We need to get that ingredient somewhere further down the line. But
All right.
I always wanted to know how
It's
did they make.
right.
I've seen the Rastas with their jug.
Right.
But I've never known how they made it. So
Okay.
this will be interesting.
Okay,
to know
so
how they make that.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna swing right over here to another ingredient that's a part of the 21 gun salute. It's called 5 fingers. Okay, so I just want to clear up something. From what I understand, from what I've learned from my father and my grandfather, when they make specific bush medicine, they kind of make it specific. But if they had to do a general overall one, they would do it where the male and the female could drink it. So with the 21 gun salute, the last ingredient that they normally add to it would be sweet milk.
Oh, sweet milk. Okay.
That gives it an extra thickness.
Okay.
But if it's just regular tea, as it is, the female can drink it, but just not as often as the male.
Okay.
You see? So it works, it still works for the body,
Okay.
Okay, so this is another ingredient here called, well, this is another plant. It's called 5 fingers.